Badgers 28-0 and state champions of Class B. They will be in studio at 6:30. At 7 o'clock, we'll buy or sell on several different topics from around the sporting world. And then at 7:15, we're going to take a dive into the Sweet 16, tell you what the best games outside of Nebraska, Iowa are, because there's some pretty good ones in these 8 matchups. And then we'll take a look at the spring game on Saturday, because this is our last show of the night due to the Creighton, or last show of the week, and I guess the night as well.
The Creighton Athletic Hour.
This is the only show that we're going to do tonight, I promise. Is tomorrow the last Creighton Athletics Hour?
No.
Oh, that's right. That's what I said. Sorry, yeah, the Creighton Athletics Hour, and then the tournament on the rest of the week. So we will not be here. So making sure. I was like, that doesn't make sense. There should be a lot more Creighton Athletics Hours left in the season. I wish there was something to talk about around Creighton University these days. Those guys probably have a ton.
I can't imagine what it would be.
Yeah, and again, if you've been living under a rock or whatever, just really quickly, footnote: congratulations, Alan Huss, on being the next head coach at Creighton, and Greg McDermott on his illustrious 16-year career for the Blue Jays. But that brings us into our opening topic of the night. And it was a conversation that was brought up on the night shift last night in the open bar. We didn't really get to touch on a whole lot because we were waiting to talk to the Lincoln North Star girls basketball team last night, and they got here a little quicker than anticipated, which is perfectly fine. It was a great conversation. Go back and check that on our radio replay page if you missed it last night. But Captain in the Night Shift brought up last night the legacy of Fred Hoiberg and what exactly, maybe in comparison to the great football coaches, the previous coaches of different sports around the university, and where Fred pales in comparison at this point. And Captain made the comment last night: is Fred Hoiberg Bob Devaney for basketball? And it got me to thinking what these next 1 to 4 games mean. And there's a realistic world in which Nebraska beats Iowa, Illinois beats Houston, UConn beats Duke. And if that were the case, maybe not UConn, but I think there's a possibility that Nebraska may be favored in every one of those games to get to a national championship. And if that were to be the case, if Nebraska is favored, which means on paper they're expected to make it to a national championship game, and they come up short, whether it be against Iowa, whether it be against Illinois, whether it be against UConn, they're favored in those games. How does that change the perspective of this season and this coaching staff? Because on paper today, on Tuesday, March 24th, before any of those games happen, you're probably sitting there thinking, I don't care. It's been a great ride. I'll just be happy if they beat Iowa and move on to Illinois. What if you start setting those expectations for yourself? We could be playing for a national championship in just 2 short weeks, and you don't get there. Does that change the narrative at all? To me, I don't think it would, but I think for some people it might.
So I think, number one, I think most importantly, like overall out of everything, no matter what Fred and the guys have achieved up to this point is already outstanding,
unfathomable,
monumental.
Yeah.
You would have never thought it. They were supposed to be the worst team in the Big Ten this year. People forget.
14th, but yeah.
Basically, they were supposed to be one of the worst teams in the Big Ten this year.
Yeah, one of the.
Obviously, not the case. If they beat Iowa and move on to an Elite Eight,
which, by the way, I wholeheartedly expect them to do.
I
hate to say I've already penciled them in against either Illinois or Houston, but I think that, listen, and here's the thing about my point.
It's a realistic possibility.
Yeah. I think Nebraska I think Illinois is a bad matchup for Houston, and I think Nebraska is a bad matchup for Illinois. I think Nebraska is a bad matchup for UConn as well, which is why I think they're going to be favored. I didn't mean to interrupt your statement, Dan, but go ahead. Did you have anything else on that thought?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
If they make it to the Elite Eight, it's tremendous.
Sure. And all they have to do so is beat a team they've already beaten this season.
Yes. If they make it to the Final Four, this season is outstanding.
Yeah.
If even at the end of this, if the end of the road is the Final Four or the Elite Eight even,
yeah,
I think this season has gone way better than anyone could have ever expected.
Oh, without a doubt. I think that's already happened.
And forever, it does not matter what happens next year, the year after that, 2031. Fred Hoiberg's money will never be good in Lincoln again.
No, it's house money from here on out.
He will not be allowed to buy a single thing in Lincoln ever again.
Well, and I think that's the important thing about Thursday night is that game is going, win or lose, that game is always going to be referenced as the Sweet 16 game. Just as in the same way, and nobody wants to hear this right now this time of year, but the way that the San Diego State game is referenced as the Elite Eight game for Creighton fans. And you may have that similar conversation, and it probably means a little bit more if it's Illinois than if it's Houston in the Elite Eight game. But win or lose, it'll be the Sweet 16 game against Iowa, because not only are you making the Sweet 16 for the first time, not only have you won your first ever college or NCAA college basketball tournament game, you now have your biggest rival waiting for you in the second weekend. There was a discussion for a long time, even at 20-0, it was never really when it got formulated that Nebraska was likely going to be a top 16 seed. Mm-hmm. It wasn't can they win one. It was can they get to the second weekend. That was a conversation for a lot of teams. There was a lot of people that having that same conversation about Florida. That didn't happen, by the way. There's a lot of the same people having the same conversations about St. John's, and obviously they got there because it had been so long, even with Rick Pitino, since they made it to the Sweet 16. Yeah. But as soon as this team kind of formulated itself as a top 16 seed, the conversation was, can you get to the second weekend? Now you're having a realistic conversation. Can you get to the third weekend? Which, and when that becomes and I hate to put the cart before the horse, but like that forms the question about next year now, right? Because it seems like with the extension, Fred's going to be back regardless if they win the national championship or not, which is an interesting conversation to be had. But obviously, there's no more rink mass next year. And say what you want about Price Sanford, and I think he's been the most important piece. I don't know if you have this run without a seventh-year guy in the middle that has been able to have seventh-year experience. And I hate to make the red-blue comparison and talk about Nebraska versus Creighton, but it kind of feels like you're set up for a year after Ryan Kalkbrenner and Lincoln with a year after rink mass. Now, I think there's a lot better pieces around, specifically from a shooting standpoint, in Lincoln than there are in Omaha, and I don't even think that's debatable at this point. But I just don't think you could put the value that rink mass brings to this team on paper. Now, does any of that matter if you make the Final Four? Does next year even matter if you make the Final Four? Or is that, let's figure that out when we get to November territory?
I think I don't think it's figured out when you get to November, because we all know how any college sport nowadays goes with coaching and whatnot.
Sure.
So it will be
transfer portals and whatnot.
I get 1 week. Well, actually, I don't know. I can't remember when the transfer portal opens, but I know it's pretty quick after the season ends. So I have a feeling that it's going to be like 3 or 4 days of really just enjoying the fact that you have accomplished so much. And then for Fred, it's right back on that horse of like, all right, well, we got to fill some pieces. We got to see where new guys can fit in, because you're losing Rink. You're also losing Sam, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
You got a couple guys along that bench who are probably itching to step up and itching to step into some starting roles here. So it'll be interesting, but I think no matter what, Elite Eight, Sweet 16, Final Four, whatever it is, it sounds really like tacky to say it, but it'll be a hero's welcome no matter what when they come back.
Yeah, and I think it's important to point that out, right? Like, obviously, you've hit a point where you're probably going to be happy no matter what happens. But that's why I have the conversation about expectations, right? Because everybody's expectation was, if this is before the season started, if this is the team that can't win the tournament game, it'll never happen, right? That was the expectations around this team because of the rink mass coming back healthy, the development of Sam Hoiberg, to your point, Dan. But the interesting thing about next year is Connor Segan has the ability to come back. Mm-hmm. You have Price Sanford, who's just a junior this year, unless he ends up going to the NBA, which is not that far-fetched of a thought process. Cale Jacobson will be a senior next year. And then you get Brendan Frager, who's been a pretty big component of this team, in a sophomore role, and you build around him, and you try to fill in those other pieces, which is, by the way, Jamarcus Lawrence, Sam Hoiberg, and Rink Mass, which is not going to be easy to replace any one of those three. But I want people before they turn on their televisions or listen on the radio or however you're taking in the game on Thursday night to think about what's at stake. And I think a lot of people that are not going to be in attendance are going to have the ability to take this in a little bit more. But you're looking at a situation where you're 4 games away from a national championship.
Yeah.
And if you're able, like, there's the doom and gloom of it all, where you look at, could this be the most Nebraska ending of all time, where Iowa is the one that dethrones your run? Yeah, that's a possibility. Like I said, I don't think that's the case. I think Nebraska's going to win this game, and I think they're going to win it convincingly. But if Illinois upsets Houston, and I think that is a bad stylistic matchup for Houston, and I think Houston has the best chance to win the national championship of any of the 16 teams left.
Yep, I would agree with that.
But I think of the 16 teams to draw in this situation, the worst matchup is probably Texas. But other than that, I think it'd be Illinois for Houston. So,
for Houston specifically, I was like, I'm still not a really big fan of drawing that St. John's team.
Yeah, no. I'm talking about from a stylistic standpoint for Houston. But if you look at it this way, if that's the case, and Illinois is able to beat Houston, the 2 teams that you're going to have to beat to get to the Final Four are 2 teams that you've already beat this season. Nebraska's got to win over Illinois. They've got a loss. They've got to win over Iowa.
And a loss.
Yeah.
You get a double rubber match. It's great timing.
And I honestly wouldn't be that surprised if it happens. Now, I think if Houston gets past the Illini, good luck, because as I mentioned, you have national championship game experience from a year ago and a hell of a coach, and I just think the athletes are better on the other side of the court, and Nebraska doesn't necessarily have the ferocity that Illinois does defensively. But if it's Illinois, I think you'd start looking at trips to Indianapolis, because I think Nebraska wins both of those games.
I think you can.
But and that gets us back to the original conversation, though, is what is Fred Hoiberg's legacy? And I don't know if you could say this about any other coach in football or basketball history, that I don't think it matters what happens on Thursday.
No, yeah.
I don't think it matters what happens past Thursday. It is already cemented because of what he's been able to do, not only with just this team. I think there's so much that gets put on Fred's legacy because of what he's done this year. Do we forget about what happened 2 years ago with that Tominaga team and how special it was because of the lull of a year ago?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think those 2 on its own, up on a pedestal, I think Fred Hoiberg is the face of Nebraska basketball for a very, very long time until he's not.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, so right now, if someone were to say, how would you describe Fred Hoiberg? I would say a guy who flamed out in the NBA, came to a Nebraska program that was honestly never really relevant within their own conference, let alone their own state for the most part. He toiled, kept his nose to the grindstone for years of just toiling and just not getting over the hump. Then he had the Keisei Tominaga and the Josiah Alec kind of team in that.
You guys remember Josiah's coat?
That bang up job, one of the best 3-point shooting Nebraska teams that we've seen in a long time. Tominaga, because his shot was so wet, it always was the greatest nickname of all time. Flipped back a year later, and it looked like we were in for sort of the same old Nebraska basketball team again.
Yeah, there's a lot of injuries there, though. And I think that's important to remember about Creighton this year. But go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, the year that I think everyone expected out of Fred Hoiberg from the very beginning, it blooms like a beautiful cactus flower in the desert. It's just there and it's ready to just watch and to be enjoyed. And I think the most important thing is that Fred has done something for Nebraska men's athletics that hasn't been done really in a hot minute. And that's give just full and complete hope.
Yeah.
To everyone in this state who follows Nebraska and who went to Nebraska.
Well, and I think that's been the difference about these last 2 games is whether it be Troy, and maybe there's something to say about it being Troy, or the game against Vanderbilt. It's like people went into that game with hope. How many times did you show up to a Nebraska of the 8 Nebraska NCAA tournaments and go, man, I don't know how they win this one? It's happened quite a bit.
Yeah.
And to my point a minute ago, you get Iowa, Illinois, and UConn, I don't think you're going to be having that conversation with yourself. We got to get to Bob Williams of Williams Law on the other side of the break. We'll get his thoughts on Fred Hoiberg in this game against Iowa when we come back. If you missed this segment, check it out on our radio replay page on 1620thezone.com. It was brought to you by Aloe Fiber. From Nebraska neighborhoods all across the state, it's clear there is no place like Nebraska. And just like so many of us, Aloe calls Nebraska home. Born and raised right here in the Cornhusker State, Aloe shares proud traditions of agriculture, athletics, education, and community. Just like game day traditions bring us together, Aloe brings families together, connection by connection. Head over to aloefiber.com/Husker Radio and sign up for the official internet, mobile, and TV provider of the Huskers. It's Aloe Fiber. Check out aloefiber.com today. We'll be right back. Bob Williams of Williams Law at 1620 The Zone. This side of the break. Hey, everybody, it's Jimmy Allen here for our friends at Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. It's going to be in the high 70s tomorrow. You're going to play a little bit of hooky and get out of work and head out to the links tomorrow. Make sure you're the best dressed golfer in the tee box. How do you do that? You stop by 78th and Dodge. It's centrally located for you for the best brands on the links. It's Mizzen and Main. It's Johnny O. It's Peter Millard. It's the all-new Horned Legend. You're going to want to stop by 78th and Dodge. Tell John, Dan, and the crew that after hours sent you, they might throw in a little something special for mentioning our show. It's Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. They've been dressing Omaha for over 50 years.
Weather from KETV Newswatch 7 is brought to you on 1620 The Zone by Certified Transmission.
Partly cloudy and pretty pleasant this evening with the temperatures around 60 or in the lower 60s. Partly cloudy later tonight will drop back in the mid-40s for the low, and then partly sunny, turning mostly sunny and very warm Wednesday, a high around 87. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby from KETV Newswatch 7.
At Timber, they don't just give you a place to go for lunch or dinner. They give you an experience from their bold, smoky flavors prepared in the open concept kitchen where you get to watch the magic happen to the relaxing umbrella-shaded patio. There's something for everyone at Timber. Join them for brunch every Saturday and Sunday from 9:30 to 2, plus happy hour from 2 to 5:30 Monday through Saturday, and 2 to close on Sunday. Timberwood Fire Bistro in the heart of Omaha at 84th and Pacific.
My name's Stephen Butler, and I own Controlled Comfort, and we've been in business for 6 decades, and in those 6 decades, I like to think that everything we do is about the art of comfort. It's about the skill of our people, but it's also about the integrity, because at the end of the day, I value my employees, so they value you, and that's really all this is about. If you get cold this winter, think about us. We'll come help you out. We'll get you out of bind. It'll be fair, it'll be fast, and it'll be the right price.
Controlled Comfort keeps it under control.
Ready to make a positive impact in a young boy's life? Join Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands and become a mentor where you are matched up with a boy in the greater Omaha area. Over 50 boys are waiting for someone like you to guide and inspire them. Visit mentoromaha.org and sign up to make a difference in a boy's life. Don't wait. Make a lasting impact today.
If your brand isn't generating you business, well, it's losing. That's where Sign Ovation steps in. We help Omaha businesses win the visibility game with bold storefront signs and vehicle decals that turn your ride into a rolling billboard. Your brand should be working, even when you're not. Driving impressions, creating leads, and bringing customers through the door. Stop riding the bench. Put your brand in the game. Visit OmahaSignsAndWraps.com tonight. That's OmahaSignsAndWraps.com. Sign Ovation, where brands show up and win.
Spring is here and the shopping list is long. Time to make a Lowe's run. Buy 3 bags, get 3 free of Stay Green 1 cubic foot garden soil. Plus, right now, members can earn 4 times the points on an eligible purchase. Start spring off strong with these deals and more. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 3/25 while supplies last. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for details. Subject to change. Point boosters subject to exclusions and more terms apply. One time only offer.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a staff accountant at the height of tax season.
Congrats. Looks like the company owes, $50 in taxes. How about that?
That seems low. Why only 50?
Why do you care so much? It's not your money.
This is a job for sponsored jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
His voice is often mistaken for a dial tone. He is the most uninteresting man in the world.
Hi, I'm Bob Berger. I'm still the most uninteresting man in the world. But if you're tired of losing sleep over business and personal taxes, payroll and employee benefits, financial statements and QuickBooks, call me.
Call Berger, Elliott, and Pritchard CPAs at 402-551-1919 or visit AEPCPA.com.
March into savings with Edwards Kia March Mania lease special. Lease the 2025 Kia 4K EX starting at just $209 a month. That's the 2025 K4 EX starting at just $209 a month. A brand new Kia for an unbeatable price. Don't wait. These deals won't last. March into Edwards Kia today. It pays to make the drive to Edwards Kia.
$1,999 down plus first payment and doc fee of $180 due at signing. 24-month, 20,000-mile lease. Stock K621945. Acquisition fee of $650 not included. Tax, title, and license extra. Negative equity will affect payment. Security deposit waived with approved credit. Offer valid through 03/31/2026 while supplies last.
Tires matter. They're the only part of your vehicle that touches the road. Tread confidently with new tires from Tire Rack. Whether you're looking for expert recommendations or know exactly what you want, Tire Rack makes it really easy. Fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, convenient installation options, and the best selection of Goodyear tires. Go to TireRack.com/Dan. See their Goodyear test results, tire ratings, and reviews. Be sure to check out all the special offers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Now back to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
$6.20 on a Taste Test Tuesday here on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Bellevue University. If you're looking to keep up to date on all the championship action happening on Bellevue's campus this spring, download the BU Bruins app to your smartphone. Tonight, Bob Williams of Williams Law is now joining us tonight to discuss the NIL collective issue in the lawsuit that the 18 players at the University of Nebraska have filed. Bob, thanks for being here, man.
Hey, thanks for having me in, guys. Good to see you. How's things going for you?
It's a busy Tuesday. We had some delicious food from Marrow tonight that we're excited about. But I want to talk about the players of Nebraska and specifically the arbitration lawsuit that they're asking for. 18 players from Nebraska have asked for an arbitration hearing to review a recent decision by the College Sports Commission to deny NIL deals that they have signed with Playfly Sports to promote them. A couple things here. Can you explain what an arbitration hearing is and what these players can hope to accomplish?
Well, absolutely. So in many scenarios, when you're talking options as opposed to your traditional in-courtroom sense of litigation, arbitration is another possibility. Often you hear that term when you're talking sports and athletes. Baseball, for some reason, comes to mind. They talk about arbitration.
Essentially a contract dispute, right?
Yeah, essentially an employment contract dispute. In the agreement, is to sign the arbitration agreement, which means if there are disputes over the terms or payments, or in this case, whether or not it would be validated, the application for these funds, they go through an arbitration hearing. Arbitration hearing is if you were to basically port a standard courtroom or courtroom process and hearing into an administrative body or an administrative process. That's basically the beginning of this. So you have rules of evidence, you have evidentiary offers from either of the parties. In this instance, you'd have, the representative for the players. And again, I don't know if that's going to be a single representative or a group of representatives for each of the players. I know they filed it in concert with each other, meaning
right?
Yes, exactly. And so, and then there will be a representative for the CSC and maybe for the greater NCAA at large. And it's an evidentiary process where you've got a hearing officer who basically sits as the judge in this situation. Hearing officers are generally administrative officers that are either retired judges or attorneys that serve in that role that are independent and hopefully unbiased. That basically it's a trial process, but not in a trial courtroom. So evidence is offered by the parties. You go back and forth. You have witness testimony. Now, in a scenario like this, this may not be something that's like with a trial typically where you've got maybe a jury, or a judge, and you've got a criminal trial, for example. Those are typically done in consecutive days where you've got somebody that's charged, they're sitting in the defendant chair, and a trial may take 1, 2, 3 days or weeks, or O.J. Simpson months, for example, right? In this scenario,
the glove does not fit.
You must acquit, right? In this scenario, for an arbitration, depending on the availability of all the different parties, who may testify, what evidence is offered, evidence could be taken piecemeal, and all parties may not necessarily need to be in the same geographic location, especially with Zoom and other video processes that could be used for those persons and parties to appear. And then generally speaking, when you've got a closing argument on an administrative type hearing arbitration, those are going to be verbally argued, and then generally there's going to be some type of supplement to that by a written closing argument or summary of arguments that are submitted to the hearing officer. And in this instance, they use the time frame of 45 days, which is a really accelerated time frame versus other arbitration hearings that could take several more weeks or even months to process. And when you're talking even grander arbitration hearings for big corporations that happen to be in this setting, you could talk even potentially years of process. So these are supposed to be accelerated for the benefit of the athletes who could, in theory, be in season, right, earning benefits, and that's kind of the point,
spring
right?
season right now, yeah.
And so there will be a ruling at some point. And again, as we've talked before, arbitration rulings are often kept confidential and are generally final order. So
when we're talking about 18 participants out of 3,000 essentially here, because everybody falls under the NIL Go, or at least they're supposed to, in this cap or litigation of being able to review what the earnings are and justify them based on what they're being asked to do as from a name, image, likeness standpoint. There's no way they can keep this confidential, right? Because it affects more than just the 18 players involved long term, correct?
I think that's a pretty good assertion, although, again, we're dealing with issues that are what we in the legal community call cases of first impression, meaning there's not any case law that's going to be as a caveat or a lead to what's going to happen next. So that could be a good depiction of this. And really the main issue for these players is that these agreements that they have, again, the threshold for the CSC, I believe, is over $600 from third parties, right? I think that's the threshold.
Yeah.
And they want what's called a concrete, identifiable services that are going to be provided by that party to fulfill their contract between the third party agency and the player. And that's the big issue here is they're using a term called warehousing, meaning they have not defined what those specific terms are that will fulfill the contract. They're basically putting the future services in a warehouse to pull out later when needed. And that's one thing that the NCAA and the CSC is trying to avoid is ambiguity. And when you have ambiguity and you can't identify what those future services will be, that creates frustration, and it's a hindrance. It's definitely a hindrance in moving forward for them.
Doesn't the fact that they're paying for their name, image, and likeness disqualify that dispute, because they're not paying them for services? They're paying for the right to have the marketing ability to use them if they need to.
Well, I think if they need to is you can check that box, but what is the need to? What are the things that they're going to do to effectuate that for the need to? I think what it does is it prevents, basically you don't want to hinder future commerce. And if you're basically just trying to, reserve the rights to this person from the third party perspective, how does that limit other players' ability to market themselves and move around, right?
So I always try to make this relevant to other walkings of life, right? Like if I own a roofing company and I want, let's say, Adrian Martinez to come be a spokesperson for me and do commercials for me, and I pay him to be exclusive to me, Jimmy Allen Roofing. There's a benefit to me paying that person to not go advertise a different roofing company, another gutter company, whatever, even if he's not on my commercials. Do the Play It Again Sports have the ability to, or Play It Fly Sports have the ability to say, well, our benefit is to not have them filling in doing commercials or any other services for our competitor blank?
I think that's a great question. I think there is some irony involved, because if you're a representative for the player, him or herself, you would want as much flexibility as possible to earn as much revenue from any multiple sources as possible. So I think really what is trying to be done here is to identify more particularly what the terms of the agreement will be, so there won't be these gray areas that are up for
Sure.
dispute later on and up for more arbitration or legal challenges at a later point in time.
And what was the terminology used again? It's when you don't have like a Miranda versus Arizona to fall back
Precedent,
on.
case precedent.
You don't have a case precedent for this, but I feel like you do, because I think of guys like Harvey Schiller at Turner and TV executives and brand recognized people that have, no pun intended here, pay for play contracts where they're not technically living up to what their contract was, or they weren't needed, their services weren't used anymore, and they got pay for play contracts where they just got sent home to sit at home because they're not benefiting anybody else.
Right.
And I think that gives us a little bit of an example or a jumping off point or an example in society where there are multimillionaires that get paid all the time to not do what they're doing, to not do something because they didn't live up to what the billing was. The company went under, things of that nature. And I think that is probably the walk of life that is the most comparable to what we're talking about here.
I think there are certainly some very quality parallels there. But again, we're dealing with terrain that's been unencumbered before,
Sure.
right? This is all brand new 2026.
I mean, yes, in the realm it's in, but the conversation we're having, which this is not pay for play.
No,
these are not athletes.
those are dirty words, Jimmy.
These are not athletes that are getting paid to play football, basketball, soccer, what have you. But these are people that are getting paid by a company to do work for them that there's nobody else in the world that's saying, okay, we're taking this to litigation because we don't know what you're doing on a day in, day out basis. And I just think it's really convenient that Tennessee gets caught with McDonald's bags full of food. There's an issue with arbitration with the University of Nebraska, but we just killed Kentucky on this radio show last night for having a $22 million basketball roster that didn't even meet match the Sweet 16. And I find it hard to believe that Nebraska's football roster is anywhere near $22 million, but this is the conversation we're having. So, like, I think if I'm Matt Rule, if I'm Troy Dannon, if I'm the University of Nebraska, and maybe you don't want to rock this boat, and I'd hear that argument too, but I'm going, why us? Why are we under investigation? We're the 7-5 team. Indiana just had one of the greatest turnarounds in the history of football, and Mark Cuban is on the sidelines at games. You want to question our players?
Well, and I think
I think that is a line that a lot of people probably don't want to cross.
I think this is less of this 18-player issue is less about them being the Nebraska players. I think it's more about having we can argue in the alternative, level playing field so that there are identifiable services moving forward that should actually, while the players want to be paid right now, I think it probably the bigger issue is what's going to be fair for not only these players, but all players moving forward.
Sure.
And let's identify what these
Nebraska's been on the
services are.
forefront of that before with the players that sued for the COVID season.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well.
You're right. Correct.
If this holds up and this cap or this level, or it's deemed that Playfly Sports was doing something that they can't honor the deal and the money, and this comes down from legislation, like this is a court hearing decision, Playfly Sports and the University of Nebraska are kind of off the hook here for any punitive damages, right?
I would not use the term punitive damage, but I would say that that's probably a decent
promised owings.
Promised owings.
Yeah.
I would say that's probably a decent assessment here. I mean, you've got some super interesting issues if Nebraska, because what we haven't even touched on is Nebraska's got a statute that's somewhat salient and somewhat on point here about being able to not being restricted by certain covenants of the NCAA or what the CSC would have come through right now. And so I don't know what would happen if our Attorney General's office could, in theory, get involved if they wanted to push the issue and be involved with litigation. They don't seem really averse to litigation. So that could be something that Hilder's office steps into.
Because I think it'll be really interesting if this does hold up, or even if it doesn't. Like, I think the University of Nebraska and to some degree Playfly Sports have grounds to stand on to file a counter suit, because you know damn well Iowa, Illinois, Minnesota, Ohio State is going out there talking to all these recruits that are recruiting the same exact guys Nebraska is and saying, well, you don't want to go play in Lincoln. They can't even pay their guys the money they're promising. It happened at Florida.
Sure.
You had a quarterback that didn't get paid, and what he was promised. Now the same guy has transferred to 3 different schools since then, and whether there's legitimacy to that argument or not, it's completely irrelevant. But all the conversations after that conversation was had around Jaden Rashada and everything that happened with Billy Napier at Florida was they didn't pay a guy the money they owed him. Now, Billy Napier is no longer at Florida, and Jaden Rashada has been a few other places like I just mentioned, but you can't argue that didn't negatively affect the imagery or probably the trust that some players had coming into Gainesville. And if this comes to fruition, these 18 players don't get paid what they've been promised, there's already probably a little bit of a black eye on the university and the recruiting process anyway. It's definitely going to be there if this holds up.
Well, I think the black eye could go either way, right? It could go, depends which perspective you're looking from. Is it a black eye in the university, or is it a black eye of the company promising the monies?
It'll be both.
Or is it a black eye in the process? As
it's like when you're
right?
And you can relate this. It's like when you're wrongfully accused. The only thing that people see is the news story, right? They don't see if you get acquitted.
No. They see the new flashy news line. You're right.
Exactly. And this brings up the argument is like, there's layers to this, right? And there's levels to this. And we've talked about arbitration. We've talked about the state getting involved. We talked about the federal. What part of this is on, like, where does the line, and maybe we don't have a jumping off point like you mentioned, but where's the line of, okay, this is Nebraska law versus federal law versus an opt-in option to the College Sports Commission, right? Like, there's got to be, and that's why this gets so sticky, is because there is so much gray area.
That's right. And again, as we mentioned earlier with the Nebraska state law, is push going to come to shove where the Nebraska Attorney General gets involved? Because while the CSC itself is a not-for-profit organization,
allegedly,
it works for a not-for-profit organization related to education, the NCAA. Allegedly. And they are subject to antitrust laws. So while there's not an invocation of a federal law or statute per se, there can't be violation of this theory of law, meaning the antitrust. So yes, they butt heads in this instance, and I really wish I had a lean on how this would work out. I think, again, we're looking at a case of first impression here, and there's probably a number of suits that are going to be popping up around the country. And I wouldn't be surprised if the CSC changed some of their language or tweaked some of their language in their rules that would address this specific issue about warehousing and non-identifiability of tangible promises to fulfill contracts by these players.
Charlie Baker, the president of the NCAA, makes $3.4 million a year for his nonprofit presidency seat, by the way. Criminal,
Lovely.
civil, personal, you can head over to WilliamsLawLLC.com tonight and get a free, no obligation legal consultation from Bob and his team. He can explain to you what arbitration is if you missed the first half of this segment. Head over to WilliamsLawLLC.com and get a free, no obligation legal consultation tonight. Nebraska beat Iowa on Thursday?
Let's hope so, baby. It's going to be a dogfight, though, don't you think?
You heard it here first. Go put all your money on the Huskers in Houston this week. Bob Williams, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Later.
We'll be right back. The queens of Class A, the Bennington girls, Class B, the Bennington girls basketball team will be in studio with us next week. Come back, 1620 The Zone. Hey, everybody, it's Jimmy Allen here for our friends out at Marrow. We had some delicious food catered in tonight, courtesy of Marrow. And if you're looking for an experience that it's not exactly ordinary, it's out of the ordinary, it's going to stand out, head out to Marrow in Greta. At Marrow, it's all about bold flavors, handcrafted dishes, and an atmosphere that keeps you coming back. Whether it's a night out, a date night, maybe you're trying to make a great first impression, or you're just treating yourself, you'll find something unforgettable on every single plate out at Marrow. Fresh ingredients, creative menus, local charm, but make sure you make a reservation today and taste what everyone's talking about. It's Marrow, right at the heart of Gretna. Stop by, grab dinner, and tell them After Hours sent you tonight.
My name's Stephen Butler, and I own Controlled Comfort, and we've been in business for 6 decades, and in those 6 decades, I like to think that everything we do is about the art of comfort. It's about the skill of our people, but it's also about the integrity, because at the end of the day, I value my employees, so they value you, and that's really all this is about. If you get cold this winter, think about us. We'll come help you out. We'll get you out of bind. It'll be fair, it'll be fast, and it'll be the right price.
Control Comfort keeps it under control.
The real game changer in college athletics, it's coaches. And at Bellevue University, there is an experienced team of coaches who know you both as an athlete and as a person. Plus, there are student coach advisors who are there to provide individualized academic support every step of the way as you progress towards your degree. At Bellevue University, you're not just another athlete. You belong. We're for you and for college sports. Visit BUBruins.com.
Criminal, civil, personal. If you or a loved one is facing a lawsuit, let Williams Law represent you and your family today. With more than 20 years litigation experience in Nebraska, Williams Law will defend you with the dedication you deserve. If you're facing a DUI or if your son or daughter has been accused of a crime, Williams Law is here for you. Call 402-522-6317 to get a free, no-obligation consultation and to get the representation you deserve today.
Thanks for dinner, Dad. Odd question, but have your energy bills been high lately? Mine seem really high.
Not anymore, thanks to our new Champion windows.
What was that?
Well, I was trying to tell you about the buy two, get two free sale from Champion Windows.
You seriously don't hear that?
All I hear is me trying to help you save money.
Sure. Sorry.
We saw an immediate improvement in our bills after installing Champion Windows.
You didn't just hear that?
You're probably just distracted by what a good deal buy two, get two free is.
Seriously.
Just call Champion already.
Upgrade to energy-efficient windows during Champion's Buy Two, Get Two free sale. Don't wait. Call 877-GO-CHAMPION or visit ChampionSaveNow.com to schedule your free estimate online today. All discounts apply to our regular prices. Select styles apply. Minimum purchase required. Cannot be combined with other advertised offers. See store or website for details.
Roberts is the reason.
Because you want green grass. Beautiful green grass with no weeds.
Roberts is the reason.
No more trying to figure out what fertilizer to use, how much, and when to put it down.
Roberts is the reason.
Roberts Nursery Lawn and Landscapes. Turning regular yards into beautiful yards since 1992.
Roberts is the reason.
I'm Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. We know your time matters, so when you call us, we answer on the very first ring. That's our promise to you. We value your business and will treat you like a friend and neighbor, because more than likely, you are one. While other banks hide behind technology, we combine the best of both. Top-notch digital banking and online banking with people who care. Got a question or need help? We're just one ring away. At Equitable Bank, we take banking personally because you deserve it. Member FDIC.
Have a passion for the outdoors? Nebraska Game and Parks is seeking seasonal teammates. Work in scenic state parks, contribute to vital research projects, and care for our natural spaces. Seasonal staff assist with special events, provide customer service to outdoor enthusiasts, and make a difference for conservation. Join the adventure at outdoornebraska.gov. Apply online today.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now back to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
$6:45 on a Taste Test Tuesday here at 1620 The Zone. Not too late. Head over to our Twitter page or our Facebook. Share the post from Marrow tonight. Want you to know a $25 gift card drawing to Marrow out in Gretna tonight. Gretna might as well be on the other side of the planet from where the group of folks we're about to talk to live. John O'Connor, the head basketball coach out at Bennington for the girls' side of things, and the state champions are in studio. Reese Almquist and Reagan Blummer with us as well. Coach, obviously a perfect season, a state championship. But take me back to last year. This team falls short to Scott in the semis. What was the message of this team in the offseason about the way last year ended and the way this year could be?
Yeah, I think it kind of started right away in the locker room, even before the offseason after we lost to Scott. I think there were some mixed emotions. There was a lot of excitement for the season that we just had. First time we'd been to the state semis in class, for our school since we joined Class B. Scott was a really good team. They go on to win the state championship. So there's a lot of emotions of success and happiness and glad how the season went. But then there was also the feelings of disappointment, and even the girls in the locker room at the time were saying, hey, let's get back here next year and let's make it even further.
Had you in 2 years ago, you talked a lot about fixing things in practice and routines and the way you were working, and some of the things that were put on film, the way things were going well. Is it hard to coach when you're 28-0 and you can't, quote, fix things that aren't necessarily broken after a loss?
No, I mean, there's definitely things that we can continue to work on. We definitely had, some games where we had some close calls or had situations and things that we wanted to always prepare for. these guys are perfectionists and always want to get better, and every single day wanting to get better. And so they were always trying to, find little things that we can continue to get better at and stick to the process every day.
Just 2 seniors on this team. We're going to talk to them in a minute, but that's got to give you a lot of hope for what the future looks like in building this thing back up next year, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of excitement, a lot of returning girls coming back. They're going to be competing for different roles in different spots. We're going to miss the heck out of these two, and just everything that they brought to the program for the last 4 years. Big shoes to fill. So hopefully we have some underclassmen ready to step up.
You can't win a state championship, and you darn sure can't go 28-0 without some help around the program as far as somebody booking buses, making sure kids are fed, making sure the little guy in your lap has somebody to watch him. Obviously, there's a ton going on when you're a dad, a husband, a father, a coach, a teacher. Who are some people around this program that deserve credit for the state championship that may not show up on a stat sheet?
I don't know how much time you got, but I mean, that list is very, very long. It takes a village, and there's just so many people to thank and people that help contribute to this. I mean, obviously the players get the credit first and foremost.
Sure.
These seniors, the underclassmen behind them, girls that maybe played a lot of minutes, girls that practice really, really hard to get everybody ready. I mean, so many of those assistant coaches as well. We have a great staff that just works really well together. We talk about just having different roles on the team, and our assistant coaches do a great job of that as well, with different strengths that each of us bring to the table. Coach Coughlin has, been with us for a few years now. He's a head coach, a state tournament experience, and has obviously, it's like having another head coach right there. Coach Rischling has been with us from the very beginning. Coach Goodwin, Coach Sowers, again, just a great staff overall. Our strength and conditioning coaches who help us in the off season and during the season and during the school year. I mean, you said buses and our administration, our transportation, our front office ladies that help with so many things. Our community, who was supportive. We had a lot of pride in our community.
Sure.
These are
that showed up in Lincoln too, by the way.
100%. And that just kind of goes to show you how much the community means to us. We really appreciated their support. Even personally, my wife, who again had 3 kids at home, and
I was trying to get him there. I was trying to make sure you threw that one in there.
It's she's obviously key to allowing me to be able to have fun with these guys every day.
Sure.
A lot of mentor coaches, again, for me personally, that, Coach Olson, who's our boys coach, who I was an assistant for, go way back. My brother, who's a head coach.
Hey, Luke, thanks for the phone number the other day. He gave me a contact for somebody that I had to talk to.
Oh, there you go.
We'll give him a free shout out. That's fine.
Absolutely. They were at the state tournament as well, had a great season.
Yep.
So he's a huge mentor. And then there's just a lot of coaches, that I had conversations with throughout the year, who had conversations with the team, who I was constantly like, hey, you've been here before, you've done this before, what were some of your thoughts? And that's a long list of coaches that I continue to reach out to, and want to thank them all.
You brought your top assistant with you tonight. Who is this? Who's with you?
This is Michael.
Michael, do you want to say hi to the just mere 15,000 people that are listening? No. All right, we'll let you slide. We'll move on to the girls. Reese Almquist is with us tonight, one of the 2 seniors on this team. Reese, you walk away from Bennington not just a state champion, but a perfect season. What does that mean to you personally?
It just means everything, just to get a little bit closer each year, from not making it to state my freshman and sophomore year to being at 28-0 my senior year. I know me and Reagan probably agree that it feels good to leave the team not just better than we found it, but in the best way possible.
Absolutely. And I asked Coach about this a minute ago, but can you take us back to your thought process from a year ago, walking away from the state tournament after losing to Scott? What was your mentality heading into this season like after that loss?
Just knowing that was just not a good feeling for any of us, and I was very sad to see my seniors go, but I know Presley Baca, senior last year, told us before she left that it's yours next year, and that kind of just stuck with me.
Feel free to let her know she didn't win a state championship.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Presley, we kid. But you, not only is it a state championship, it's the only one in Class B that this school has ever had for girls basketball. First and only class to bring a state championship back to Bennington in girls basketball. What does that mean to you?
It's pretty cool that me and Reagan were the only 2 to kind of stick it out. There was 15 plus of us my freshman year, and each year it just kind of like people just kind of whittled away. So I played basketball with Reagan my whole life, so
Sure.
being able to take this way with her is so cool.
Well, check with coach. You don't have a red shirt left, so you got to go off to college next year. At least leave Bennington. What does life after high school look like for you?
So I won't be playing basketball next year. I'm gonna attend Kansas University, so Rock
Okay.
Chalk.
Okay, we'll allow it. That's
I
fine.
guess. And
Why KU?
I toured there and I just really like the campus, and I know a lot of people that went there, and I've never heard any bad things about it.
Parents happy, sad that you're going to be far away?
I think they're probably sad, but I mean, it's not too far.
Sure. What are your parents' names?
Brad and Samantha.
Shout out to Brad and Samantha. Hopefully listen. Well, congratulations on all the success. Thanks for being here tonight. We appreciate you being in studio with us. Reagan, we'll go over to you for a minute. Is it going to be weird not playing basketball with Reese next year after 45 years of playing hoops together?
So weird.
You
Not ready.
Same questions. I mean, it's a pretty repeat story here. You guys perfect state champions, just 2 seniors on this team. What does it mean for you to leave Bennington as a perfect undefeated state champion?
Yeah, like Reese said, it means everything to me, and especially with this group of girls, it's super special, and there's no better way to go out.
Watching your guys' season all year long, it didn't seem to matter if it was a senior or a freshman. Everybody kind of fit into their roles perfectly on this team. Why was this team so selfless this year, in your opinion?
Yeah, for me personally, I'm not like huge on stats and everything. I'm huge on like bringing energy and positivity to this team, and I feel like that really contributed to the games and practices, and that really helped us get like connected.
Were you the loudest one on the bench?
One of them, one of the few.
Same question for you. What does life after high school look like for you?
Yeah, so I'm gonna attend University of Nebraska-Lincoln.
Okay.
I'm not gonna play basketball.
You can say Go Big Red. It's fine.
Yeah, Go Big
There you
Red.
go. Okay, it's a perfect week to do it.
But yeah, I'm gonna do like all the intramurals down there.
Sure.
And I hope to see the girls next year down there at state.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Go Big Red tomorrow.
Why was Lincoln the right fit for you?
I don't know, homegrown. I really like
Sure.
their campus, and I know a lot of people there too. And it's just
Are your parents happier that you're staying close to home?
yeah, they are. Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Her parents are happy
Yeah.
about that. Thank you, Reagan. What are your parents' name?
Jamie and Kyle.
Shout out to Jamie and Kyle. Thanks for listening. Hopefully you're joining us. Coach, back to you for a minute. We're catching up with the Bennington Badgers girls basketball program here on After Hours. John O'Connor, the head coach, is with us as well. What does next year look like? Have you allowed yourself to think about what next year's team looks like, or are you still celebrating this one? Even though you didn't bring the trophy with you.
Yeah, I know. That was huge mess. I was a turnover on my part, so sorry about that. But no, I mean, really just trying to enjoy the moment, enjoy the time right now. We keep kind of telling the girls right now, like, don't try and fast forward through this time. A lot of them are moving on to their spring sports and stuff like that, but just
Sure.
enjoy the heck out of this, historic accomplishment. There'll definitely be plenty of time in the near future to kind of start focusing on the future and stuff like that. But right now, continuing to enjoy these seniors. They got a couple months left of their, high school careers, spring sports, and just really enjoying the moment.
Well, congratulations to all 4 of you. We appreciate you guys coming in studio with us. That is the Bennington Badgers girls basketball program. If you missed their segment tonight, check out the Badgers on our radio replay page on 1620thezone.com. It was brought to you by Controlled Comfort Heating and Air. A little chilly today. It's going to be hot tomorrow. How do you feel about your furnace? How do you feel about your air conditioner? Did the summer and winter months take too hard of a toll on them last year? Get a maintenance appointment set up with Controlled Comfort. Head over to controlledcomfort.com. Let them come out, fix your furnace filter. Also adjust the humidity on your thermostat as well. Check out controlledcomfort.com for more details tonight. We're going to find out what's trending with social media. Maybe talk some more ice cream with Dan Campion on the other side of the break. 1620 The Zone.
AX Plumbing has the cold weather deals. So if your hot water isn't so hot anymore, you can't afford to pass up on these deals. Tankless water heaters are $450 off. Traditional water heaters are $200 off. And for those real hard water problems, water softeners are $300 off. Stop by AXP Service tonight and fix your water heater before it gets too cold outside. AX Plumbing. We'll leave your home or your business cleaner than we found it.
Are you dreaming of your business dominating local Google searches, drawing in customers effortlessly? Look no further. I'm Courtney, the Google gal from Pixel Fire Marketing. Need assistance with your Google business profile? From verification to getting more reviews, fixing maps to tackling annoying Google calls? I've got you covered. Your profile sets you apart and ensures you're the top choice for local customers. Visit fixmygbp.com for our $297 special offer. Visit fixmygbp.com for more details.
Are you ready for the game changer of the day? Bellevue University has a new state-of-the-art 72,000 square foot field house featuring premium courts, generous fan seating, top-tier locker rooms, dedicated athletic training, and a strength and conditioning space, plus a whole lot more. It's not just a venue, it's a home court advantage. We're for you and for college sports. Visit BUBruins.com.
If your brand isn't generating you business, well, it's losing. That's where Sign Ovation steps in. We help Omaha businesses win the visibility game with bold storefront signs and vehicle decals that turn your ride into a rolling billboard. Your brand should be working, even when you're not. Driving impressions, creating leads, and bringing customers through the door. Stop riding the bench. Put your brand in the game. Visit OmahaSignsAndWraps.com tonight. That's OmahaSignsAndWraps.com. Sign Ovation, where brands show up and win.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
At Host Coffee, every cup of coffee served comes with a promise of quality, innovation, and a dash of fun, ensuring your workday is as delightful as your coffee break. Call Host Coffee today.
Proudly serving Nebraska since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you. Let me get you up to speed on the service that you need.
Brian recently had us tow his all-wheel drive Mercedes from another shop. He was told it needed a new transmission for over $4,000. As it turned out, the reason he had no Ford was because his front CV axle was bad. We replaced the axle for a few $100 and he was back on the road.
Transmission, shifting to running smooth.
Hey, basketball fans! Stop into your nearest Cubbies in Nebraska, Western Iowa, and South Dakota for top quality fuel, hot and fresh food, plus that local spirit that you'll always find at Cubbies. Whether it's a dash in for a drink and a snack, or you're swinging by one of our select locations to grab dinner from Chester's Chicken or Godfather's Pizza Express, Cubbies has you covered. And don't forget your Bear Bucks rewards card for rewards and extra savings. Cubbies, the very best in convenience.
If your brand isn't generating you business, well, it's losing. That's where Sign Ovation steps in. We help Omaha businesses win the visibility game with bold storefront signs and vehicle decals that turn your ride into a rolling billboard. Your brand should be working. Driving impressions, creating leads, and bringing customers through the door. Stop riding the bench. Put your brand in the game. Visit OmahaSignsAndWraps.com tonight. That's OmahaSignsAndWraps.com. Sign Ovation, where brands show up and win.
You are listening to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
Put a bow on the first hour of the After Hours Lounge, brought to you by Bellevue University. Keep up to date on all the championship action happening on Bellevue's campus by downloading the BU Bruins app to your smartphone tonight. Dan, I told you to remind me of something at 7:15, but I'm just going to bring it up at 6:45.
Go right ahead.
We clearly missed John Schreiner and Adrian Martinez and Rob Love and all the previous co-hosts of After Hours. I've thoroughly enjoyed these 2 weeks of us just doing this show together.
It's been very good.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. So we'll continue the trend. We got to get to the social media soundbite. What's trending on social media?
Speaking of trending on social media, the biggest golfer of this generation is back in the saddle.
He is.
And by the sound of it, the boy hasn't lost a step. You hear at the end of that clip, Max Homa saying, "Welcome back, young man," to one Eldrick Tiger Woods, y'all. 170 mile per hour ball speed.
Is that fast?
3-wood. That is very fast.
Moving.
And for as old as he is, and for as many times as he has fused his spine together
again
and his knees and his back and his hips, and I think just about every joint on his body. That is very good for him. And I'm glad that he's playing right now in the TGL, because this was kind of his baby.
Can I,
in a sense, like this was kind of his thing that he got people going on. And when your team is quite possibly the best and makes it to the finals, you got to play.
Can I tell you something that just feels really 1990s? Today is Peyton Manning's 50th birthday.
It is indeed.
He and Tiger Woods are the exact same age. Doesn't that just sound right?
It does.
You know me, Dan. I'm not a huge golf fan. I like the TLG. I think it's or TGL, right? The golf.
Yeah.
TGL. It looks cool. It's very modern. I think it's a way to introduce the game to new fans. I think it's a way for old golfers not to have to walk very far as well. This is super cool. It's on ESPN right now. If anybody wants to catch it, see what it looks like and check it out. That was the social media soundbite. If you missed it, check it out on our radio replay page at 1620thezone.com. It was brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. Does your business post every day on social media? Do you have time to do that? If not, we have the solution for you. Check out pixelfiremarketing.com tonight. Dan DeSive and his crew will set you down, give you the roadmap to success, and engage your ideal client online with ads that convert to sales. How do I know that? They do it for me daily at Sinovation. They can do it for you tomorrow as well. Head over to pixelfiremarketing.com. Work with Dan DeSive and the crew tonight. We buy or sell the other side of the break. 1620 The Zone. Hey, everybody, it's Jimmy Allen here for AX Plumbing. 'Tis the season for tree roots to be clogging your drains. How do I know? It happened to me last spring. It could happen to you too. If you want to avoid that totally, have AX Plumbing come out and scope the drain and give you an idea of what tree roots look like in your drains. Have the drains even, or the pipes been damaged at all? Do you even need a water jetting? They can give you all of that advice and fix the problem long term. If you have big time plumbing problems, but not a big time plumbing budget, there is financing available on the website as well. Check out axpservice.com. Work with Nick and the crew tonight.
AX Plumbing has the cold weather deals. So if your hot water isn't so hot anymore, you can't afford to pass up on these deals. Tankless water heaters are $450 off. Traditional water heaters are $200 off. And for those real hard water problems, water softeners are $300 off. Stop by AXP Service tonight and fix your water heater before it gets too cold outside. AX Plumbing. We'll leave your home or your business cleaner than we found it.
Rail Cars Happy Hour is here. Stop by 144th and Blondo Monday through Saturday from 2:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday from 2 to close, and enjoy $2 to $5 off appetizers, $1 off draft and bottles of beer, and delicious ciders. All signature cocktails are $10. Classic cocktails are $8. And every glass of wine is $2 off. Plus, Rail Cars' incredible brunch menu is on display 9:30 to 2 Saturday and Sunday. Rail Car Modern American Kitchen, 144th and Blondo.
The real game changer in college athletics, it's coaches. And at Bellevue University, there is an experienced team of coaches who know you both as an athlete and as a person. Plus, there are student coach advisors who are there to provide individualized academic support every step of the way as you progress towards your degree. At Bellevue University, you're not just another athlete. You belong. We're for you and for college sports. Visit BUBruins.com.
March is winding down, and if you're counting the buzzer beaters and cheering for Cinderella, Hy-Vee and Chesterman Coca-Cola have you covered. Through March 31st, grab Coca-Cola 24 packs for just $12.99, Coca-Cola mini cans for just 99 cents, and Body Armor 12-ounce 8-packs for only $4.99. Plus, try the all-new Cherry Coca-Cola Float and Diet Cherry Coke, now available in 20-ounce bottles at Hy-Vee. Stock up for the games and refresh your watch party with Hy-Vee and Chesterman Coca-Cola.
Criminal, civil, personal. If you or a loved one is facing a lawsuit, let Williams Law represent you and your family today. With more than 20 years litigation experience in Nebraska, Williams Law will defend you with the dedication you deserve. If you're facing a DUI, or if your son or daughter has been accused of a crime, Williams Law is here for you. Call 402-522-6317 to get a free, no-obligation consultation and to get the representation you deserve today.
At Remodel Nebraska, we've been told that we're pretty good at what we do.
But don't believe me, believe the customers. After we gave a down payment to a sunroom company, they flat out dropped the ball. We contacted Remodel Nebraska. We met with Jack, and he told us that he would work hard to earn our trust. And we have to admit, Jack and the crew, they all did a great job. Go to remodel-ne.com and schedule a free estimate.
Remodel Nebraska.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-885-3300. 800-885-3300.
Truck drivers know the road, but they also know how important it is to get home. At Liquid Trucking, you don't have to choose between the two. Our drivers enjoy consistent home time with weekly schedules you can count on. We also pay by the hour with reliable weekly pay you can depend on. Drivers can earn $95,000 to $105,000 in their first year with opportunities for bonuses and extra pay. If you're a CDLA driver looking for dependable home time and strong pay, apply today at liquidtrucking.com.
Oddly, he's interesting because he's so uninteresting. He is the most uninteresting man in the world.
Hi, I'm Bob Berger. Don't settle for anyone more interesting. Let's get to work on your business and personal taxes, payroll and employee benefits, QuickBooks and retirement planning. Call me.
Call Berger, Elliott, and Pritchard CPAs at 402-551-1919 or visit bepcpa.com.
KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone.
Stop at the second hour here on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Bellevue University. Check out bellevue.edu if you're looking for the ideal college experience this fall. No classes on Friday. The majority of your schooling done online. Live sports right on campus. Check out bellevue.edu for more details. Tonight, Dan Campanen has buy or sell. Dan, what do we got?
Indeed, I do. With the successful CBA signed by the WNBA, we now need to turn our attention to the NBAPA. Because it has come out today that they are lobbying for a 65-game season. Currently, as we all know, famously, it's at 82.
Too many.
Buy or sell. This could be a great move for the NBA and the product.
I think this is a great idea. I think the season has been too long for a very long time, and I don't want to hear about accommodations and how private jets are in modern medicine and all these things are of major benefit, and these guys need to shut up and dribble, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think there's something to be said about the off-the-court stuff that these players are being asked to do is way more taxing than maybe at any other point in history, from social media appearances and endorsement deals. And yes, they're getting paid for those things, but there's stuff away from basketball. And the fact of the matter is it's a very taxing game on your ankles, knees, and back, and especially for guys of the size most basketball players are. I think this is an absolute necessity, and I think it's something that with the Tommy John of it all, baseball really needs to consider as well.
Yeah. So number one, right off the bat, I love it. I think it's great for basketball. I think it's great for the players because, to your point, they do have a wild amount of
off-the-court obligations to sponsors, to their fans through social media. To me personally, they entertain me. I mean, the best example that I have of it is every year, because the Minnesota Timberwolves play in the Target Center, they do a gigantic Target sale. Basically, like a sort of like a toy drive, but they bring in like a bunch of underprivileged children, and they're like, what up, guys? Go crazy in this Target right now. And they have Timberwolves players there. And famously, guys like Anthony Edwards and Mike Conley and Julius Randle love doing it.
and they don't shy away from it. But it takes time away from the amount of time that they have on the court and the amount of time that they have to rest and they have to heal up their bodies. So the more, I think, time for rest that's built into their schedule, I think, number one, gives them a better chance of seeing the floor every night. And number two, I think spreads out the season a little bit more, because I think 65-game season, keep it the same length that it is now, like time-wise. And I think you're going to have a little bit more intrigue within some of the ball games, like in the midseason.
My question about it would be, is when do they decide to do it, right? Like, do you start later, which may take away from the Christmas Day? Do you start on Christmas Day, which kind of feels like the ideal situation? Or do you move the season back and not have the season end in June, but maybe end in May, late April? Because there's also a couple other different ways you can do it. You can do it in the middle and space out the All-Star break a little bit more and have less games during that time on the front and back end of that, which would probably make the most sense. But I honestly would have serious reservations about doing that, because it feels like sometimes after the All-Star break, we start to see those injuries pile up because guys have been off their knees for so long. And I would highly recommend not doing that. I think they should start the NBA season on Christmas Day and end it June 1st. It just feels like the perfect time frame.
January, February, March, April, May. I feel like you could slate 65 games and the playoffs into about 5 months. It would definitely be shortened.
Dude, in 98, 99, the season was 50 games long. Just go back to that. It was perfect.
No. See, that's too little basketball.
Nah, that's perfect amount.
We need to get a happy medium. Moving on, because apparently springtime is just the time for contract negotiations between collective bargainings and unions and whatnot.
Units of some kind.
The NFL. Well, I don't really know. I guess they're a union, but the NFL is working on a deal to possibly ease rules for replacement refs if it should come to that. Buy or sell, this work stoppage with the referees needs to be rectified, because the last time we had replacement refs, it went so well.
Ding, 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 ding. That we hit hammer on the head, Dan. Did we not learn our lesson from last time? And for everybody that was really angry about how calls went last year, do you not forget what happened last time this happened? I just think it's a necessity. You got to pay these guys. And I think it's important to remember that a lot of these guys, this isn't even their I don't think any of them, this is their full-time job. They're also doing other things. So they need to be compensated accordingly to be at the level that they're at. And a lot of these guys go to trainings year round, and yes, they miss calls and they have makeup calls and things like that. But yeah, to me, if it's going to make my football better on Sundays, just pay them whatever they want.
And if you were mad about the way that refereeing went last NFL season, let me tell you a fun fact about these replacement refs, because according to the NFL, in the sort of broad outline that they have for rules for the replacement refs, if it should come to that, I want to say if it should come to that, because it's very important. But if it happens, the replacement refs on the field will quite literally have almost zero power. They will have someone in the booth and someone in New York who can speak directly into their ear and say, hey, that was the wrong flag that you just threw. Pick that up and say that there is no call right now. It is not a good look for the NFL and for the referees if it goes to a replacement ref situation.
Yeah, I don't love this. I just hope the guys can get paid what they're worth and what they deserve and get on the field. Please make that happen. Dan.
Sticking with football, as Jimmy would love, Levante David is going to hang up the cleats. The 12-time captain for the Bucks and Nebraska great is making no one question if he will stay or go, as today he held a press conference in Tampa Bay and announced that he would like to spend more time with his daughter and that he is finishing up his NFL career. Buy or sell? Should he make it to the Hall of Fame?
Without a doubt. Undoubtedly. I think he is maybe the most underrated player of his time. And I would feel that way if I wasn't a Nebraska fan. The Hall of Fame, I think, is based on a lot of things. I think it's based on your accolades. I think it's based on the value of you as a person at your position. But maybe more than anything, it's based on the eye test. Like, you could think about the guys that you think about and go, yeah, surefire Hall of Famer. Larry Fitzgerald, surefire Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Emmitt Smith, surefire Hall of Fame. Barry Sanders, without a doubt. And you couldn't watch Levante David play football and not have the argument, is he the best player on the field? Like it didn't matter. Whoever they were playing against, whether it was at Nebraska, whether it was in Tampa Bay, anywhere in between, there was a legit debate whether or not he was the best, not linebacker, not outside linebacker, not inside linebacker, the best football player on the field. And I've been on record of saying this. I think he's the best linebacker that's ever played at Nebraska. And that's a very long list, right?
It is indeed.
I'll never forget, even though they lost this game, sitting in Ann Arbor, Michigan, watching Denard Robinson get the corner and Levante David with a 10-yard differential hawk him down and catch him before he scored. And there was a very nice couple behind us that were Michigan fans. And a larger gentleman shoves me hard and goes, he's been very nice to me up until this point. He goes, who the hell is that safety that just caught Denard Robinson?
And you went, well, he played in the middle.
I said, well, that's the guy you've been hearing him call it linebacker all game. He could not believe it. And he just kept watching, and he looked at me and goes, man, that 4 guy is going to be something special. I'm like, we know. We're very aware. And I think it's important to point out that when he got to Nebraska, he was 4th on the depth chart, too.
Yep.
And the fact that he battled all the way up to that to be undoubtedly, unquestionably, probably the best linebacker in school history, and without a doubt of his generation, played for one pro football team his entire career, which for whatever reason seems to be something that tends to matter to Hall of Fame voters for some reason.
It's important.
I think it is to some degree, but more than anything, I think the eye test will get Levante David into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, my biggest thing, and I've heard this argument a little bit today, and obviously the counter to it, because we are Nebraska fans here. So when I listen to this sports station, it is, well, here's the argument against, but here's the reason why he should.
Yeah.
It's a lot of, well, he was only a Pro Bowler once. He was only All-Pro, I think.
LOL, by the way.
I think he was only All-Pro one time, but he's also 6th all-time in the all-time tackles list.
Sure. I think he's 3rd all-time in solo tackles, by the way.
Yeah. And so the individual accolades of Levante David are so, but the
3-time, by the way, 3-time All-Pro honor. Put him in the Hall of Fame. 3 out of 14 seasons. Also won a Super Bowl.
The most important things that he's done, yes, are win a Super Bowl and be
great,
always available at middle linebacker. And I think that is the thing that won't hopefully get overlooked by the Hall of Fame.
What else we got, Dan?
Moving on, 3 years in a row and 3 losses in a row. Syracuse has fallen to UConn for the 3rd time this year. Felicia Leggett-Jack is asking the committee to give them a break next year. Buy or sell. The women's NCAA selection committee needs to really look at how they're setting up this bracket, apparently.
Isn't this like the 5th year in a row they've played UConn, too, in the tournament?
This is the 5th year in a row that they've played UConn.
Yeah.
But this is the 3rd, like the 3 consecutive years where it's been like first weekend and they just get snapped up right away.
You know how you fix that? Go get a 1 seed. You're not going to play UConn until you play at least in the Final Four. If you don't want to play UConn, be better. I don't know what to tell you. The committee is going to give us stories. You know how you don't? Or you know how you make sure you play UConn every year? You do stupid stuff like this where you make it a storyline and give the committee a reason to put you in.
Yeah, I know. And I saw a lot of the tweets and stuff that were around this today.
This is so soft. Was she serious?
Yeah. I mean, a little bit. You know, she was kind of like in her post-game press conference, she was like, stop giving us UConn because it's happened to them so many times in a row. But I've seen a lot of like, well, Gino Ariema like kind of just ran up the score on them. And to that, I would say, no, Gino Ariema probably just told the UConn Husky girls team to go out there and play basketball as best you possibly can. And it just turns out that their best is probably going to be the best in the nation this year. So I would look forward to UConn probably doing this a minimum of 2 more times.
Yeah.
In this tournament.
What else we got?
Oh, and last but not least, let me grab this guy's name here just to make sure.
Oh, can we break that down for a sec? Because like this is not sitting well with me.
Of course it's not.
You want to play for a national champ. You want to be considered to be one of the best 64 teams in America. And you want to gripe about who you're going to play against? I get it. They got a wagon up there at Stores. I understand. Gino's one of the greatest to ever do it. But you're really going to complain about the chance to be the Dragon Slayer, to be the David and the Goliath every single year?
And I don't believe, more importantly,
why don't you win the game?
I'm like 90% sure. Yeah, they were a 9 seed, so they weren't like a 16 seed.
Yeah.
Also, in the game before that, I mean, it's one of those things that perplexes me because you got beat worse than UTSA did.
I saw that. I was just about to bring that up. To me, this is worse than Scott Frost getting out of the Oklahoma game. This is worse than Lincoln Riley trying to cancel the Notre Dame matchup. Listen, you know what you got to do to win a natty? You're probably going to have to beat UConn. And if you're worried about that, just don't even turn down the bid.
Yeah, I'd like to know how.
What's the alternative? Make it to the Final Four? Maybe it's okay. You know what?
The alternative is beat UConn.
I got there. This is a pay scale thing. She probably has a bonus in her clause to getting to a certain level of the tournament, which, okay, that kind of makes sense to me. But isn't the goal to win a national championship?
Yes. Of course the goal is to win a national championship.
I rest my case. Sorry, that just irked me.
Also, I'd love to know how the head coaches of Jacksonville and High Point.
Alan Huss? Oh, he doesn't coach there anymore.
No, High Point women.
Hey, really quickly on that note, 10 a.m. tomorrow, introductory press conference for Alan Huss down at Creighton, by the way. The university announced. He's the new head coach of the Creighton men's basketball team.
Never heard of him. Probably has a lot of hair.
Great haircut.
It's the perfect haircut, actually. Carter Baumler, a name that you will have never heard up to this point.
You nailed it on the head.
Is going to be a pitcher this year for the Texas Rangers.
Oh, this is the guy. This is the video, right? This is what I thought we were doing with the social media soundbite.
It was going to be, but I
I
had other stuff that was cooler. Baumler,
an Iowa native from Des Moines.
Yes, found out that he was going to make the major league roster of the Rangers.
Get the call up, baby.
During a mound visit from his head coach. Buy or sell. This is one of the coolest ways to find out that you're a major leaguer.
How else would you rather have it happen? I mean, do you really want to go back? Do you want to do it Rick Vaughn style and go back to your locker room and see if there's a pink slip hanging or not? Like, is that what we're doing here? This is awesome, man. I mean, people have compared this to like, oh, hey, look, the coach is up on the big screen during the kicker's warm-ups telling him he got a scholarship. And those are cool. I don't want to shortchange those. This is the major leagues. This is you have a chance to be set for life conversations. This is so cool, man. I think they need to do more of this. And listen, he's from Dowling Catholic High School, which is, by the way, a powerhouse over there in Iowa.
ECC.
But yeah, very, very cool moment, man. I mean, I'm surprised we don't get more of this, which I kind of hope they don't do because it cheapens the moment. But this is super cool. I loved everything about this.
I was going to say, especially for like the MLB where they do a lot of this, like getting guys called up all the time from like AAA into the bigs and all this stuff. This is I think a more fun way to do it than a lot of the other usual stuff where it's like, oh, after practice, they bring in Jackson Holiday into like the coach's or the manager's office. And they're like, hey, so we're doing this, we're doing that, blah, blah, blah. We're thinking about trying you out of this position. And, maybe we work on your arm a little bit. And, oh, yeah, by the way, you're going to be doing all that in the major leagues. And
yeah, that's fine.
That's fun. And that's cool when they do like the little hidden camera video. But I think finding it out during a mound visit is a super fun way just to let this happen. Also, I would like to know what his velocity was before and after.
Is that the last one?
Yes, it was. That was number 5.
That was by yourself. If you missed it, check it out on our radio replay page on 1620thezone.com. It was brought to you by Controlled Comfort Heating and Air. Spring is going to sprung tomorrow. That's not the proper terminology, but we'll let it fly. If you're worried about adjusting your humidity on your furnace or maybe turning your AC on for the very first time, get a peace of mind by setting up a maintenance appointment with Controlled Comfort. Tony and his team will come out. They'll diagnose any issue you're having, but they'll also put preventative maintenance in place to make sure you don't have big-time HVAC budget problems. Check out ControlledComfort.com for more details tonight. What are the best matchups of the Sweet 16? We debate 16-20 in the zone. Hey, everybody, it's Jimmy Allen here for Aloe Fiber. I made the switch to Aloe 2 years ago, and I've been telling you guys for a while. I have not had a blue circle show up on my screen since then. It doesn't matter if I'm watching my favorite sporting events while my kids are on their iPad and my wife is upstairs watching The Real Housewives of some county. There's no buffering happening on my TV. You know why? Because I have an all-fiber network right up to my house. I don't have to share my bandwidth with my neighbors. There's no worrying about bog down times. It's an all-fiber 1 gig network straight to my house. If you want big-time internet benefits like that, you need to head over to aloefiber.com/Husker Radio. Get out of the Stone Age tonight.
Weather from KETV Newswatch 7 is brought to you on 1620 The Zone by Certified Transmission.
Partly cloudy and pretty pleasant this evening with the temperatures around 60 or in the lower 60s. Partly cloudy later tonight will drop back in the mid-40s for the low, and then partly sunny, turning mostly sunny and very warm Wednesday, a high around 87. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby from KETV Newswatch 7.
AX Plumbing has the cold weather deals. So if your hot water isn't so hot anymore, you can't afford to pass up on these deals. Tankless water heaters are $450 off. Traditional water heaters are $200 off. And for those real hard water problems, water softeners are $300 off. Stop by AXP Service tonight and fix your water heater before it gets too cold outside. AX Plumbing. We'll leave your home or your business cleaner than we found it.
If you're looking for an authentic Italian experience, look no further than Pasta Amore. For 4 decades, Pasta Amore has been keeping the spark alive for couples in the Omaha area with their homemade pasta, made fresh every day. Our hand-picked selection of exceptional wines will put the nightcap on your evening that you expect. Open every day at 4. Stop by Pasta Amore in Rockbrook Village and enjoy dining in the romantic dining room or relax on our shaded patio.
Criminal, civil, personal. If you or a loved one is facing a lawsuit, let Williams Law represent you and your family today. With more than 20 years litigation experience in Nebraska, Williams Law will defend you with the dedication you deserve. If you're facing a DUI or if your son or daughter has been accused of a crime, Williams Law is here for you. Call 402-522-6317 to get a free, no-obligation consultation and to get the representation you deserve today.
The next 30 seconds could save you hundreds on your car insurance. At The Hartford, we're passionate about your protection. If you're 50 or over, AARP Auto Insurance from The Hartford gives you benefits that really matter. And you could save $597 when you switch. How's that for a little peace of mind? Visit trusthartford.com today. The Hartford, your protection is our passion. The Hartford Insurance Group, Inc. pays royalty fees to AARP for the use of its intellectual property. AARP and its affiliates are not insurers. Savings vary.
No matter what stage of life you're in, Bankers Trust has the full suite of financial products, services, and expertise to help you fulfill your dreams. Experience high-touch, personalized service in personal and commercial banking, lending, and wealth management from Iowa's largest privately owned bank. The team of experts at Bankers Trust is ready to serve you. Stop by their location at 192nd and Dodge or visit bankerstrust.com to see how they can make a difference for you. Bankers Trust, member FDIC.
Whether it's day or night, hot flashes due to menopause can be unpredictable. That's why there's Veoza, a prescription treatment proven to reduce the number and severity of hot flashes day and night that can start working in as early as 1 week. Based on clinical studies measuring efficacy at 4 and 12 weeks, individual results may vary. Talk to your healthcare provider about what this may mean for you. For moderate to severe vasomotor symptoms or hot flashes and night sweats due to menopause, Veoza can cause serious side effects, including liver problems. Your doctor will do blood tests before and during treatment. Stop Veoza and call your doctor if you have symptoms of liver problems, such as feeling more tired than usual, decreased appetite, nausea, vomiting, itching, yellowing of the eyes or skin, pale stool, dark urine, or stomach pain. Don't use Veoza if you have cirrhosis, severe kidney problems, kidney failure, or take CYP1A2 inhibitors. Ask your doctor about Veoza. To learn more, call 1-866-239-1637 or go to Veoza.com. That's VEOZAH.com. Paid for by Stellus Pharma.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Let me get you up to speed on the service that you need.
Is your car making a howling, growling, or crunching noise? It could be related to the drivetrain, which consists of your transmission, your transfer case, and differentials. Omaha Transmission is specialized in diagnosing and repairing all those components. Don't diagnose it yourself. Take out the guesswork and have us tell you for sure.
Omaha Transmission, shifting to running smooth.
You're listening to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
$7:33 on Taste Test Tuesday here on 1620 The Zone. It's not too late to get entered into the Taste Test Tuesday drawing. All you have to do is head over to our Twitter page or our Facebook and share out the post from Marrow tonight. Absolutely delicious rice tonight for Marrow. Some great pork chops as well. Just an overall great dining experience. Marrow is one of those places that when you go, the food's the reason you show up, and the atmosphere is the reason you stay. Check out Marrow and Gretna tonight. The Sweet 16 is this weekend. We spent a ton of time talking about Nebraska versus Iowa, and rightfully so. It's the matchup top of mind for everybody this weekend. But I think there's some great games, and we talked about earlier with the Houston Illinois matchup, and that's the nightcap on Thursday. Iowa Nebraska at 6:30, and then Illini and Cougars at 9:05. Immediately following the Nebraska game. But I think that first day, those Thursday matchups are a lot better than the Tuesday matchups. And there's some really intriguing Friday matchups, excuse me. I think those Thursday games, just every one of those games should be a banger. I mean, Nebraska 1.5 point favorite. Purdue is a 7.5 point favorite. Give me the Longhorns. And Arizona 7.5 point favorite. Give me the Razorbacks. And then Houston as a 3.5 point favorite. I already talked about what I think Illinois can do in that matchup. But you have a 9-4 and an 11-2 game that, on paper, according to the numbers next to their respective names, should be pretty lopsided games. That's clearly not going to be the case in Iowa and Nebraska. You've seen that matchup twice this year. Those two teams hate each other, and it's going to be an absolute rock fight between those two teams.
Yeah, 132.5.
Yeah,
I would suggest take the under, maybe.
Me as well. And listen, Purdue is a 1.5 point favorite over Texas. I don't be surprised if Texas outright wins that game. Purdue's gotten the magic worked out. Like Matt Painter's got that team playing at the level that they probably should have been playing before they lost 8 games this season. Obviously, going on to win the Big Ten championship did a ton for them. I just wonder how long that momentum can sustain. And I think the athletes in Austin are a little bit better than the athletes in West Lafayette right now. It's a little bit closer for Texas to travel to, as well as Purdue has to travel all the way out to San Jose for that game, the Arkansas-Arizona game in San Jose as well. For me, I think that Thursday night is going to be the night to watch. I mean, everybody's going to be watching anyway, but Friday night, Duke St. John's, Blue Devils 6.5 point favorites.
It feels.
I really like St. John's that matchup.
On paper, Duke 6.5 feels right.
Yeah,
but
go watch the tape. Tell me that though.
It makes me wonder.
The game's in DC too.
It makes me wonder if people have actually watched St. John's play basketball this year. and have seen the way that defense can stifle you at the 3-point line. And
by the way, can we talk about a 30-6 Big East championship team being a 5 seed? The committee did not do St. John's any favor in the seeding in this tournament. I mean,
they did not.
And they've got the loss to Alabama. They've got the loss to Iowa State, and they've got the loss to Auburn. They lost some games that on paper were wishy-washy at best, but what hurt them in the long run was the loss to Providence and not sweeping UConn, that shouldn't hurt anybody, but let's be honest, it probably did because they lost the second match, right?
Yeah.
But they got the revenge on UConn, and they were 30-6. I guess they were 28-6 as Big East champions. How they weren't a 5 seed or how they weren't a 4 seed or a top 16 seed is beyond me, man. And maybe it's because at the time in which they won the Big East tournament, the top 16 teams were already selected. And then I guess, but man, that drawing them as a 5 seed is a tough look for Duke. And listen, we already talked about that side of the bracket. It's just, I mean, Duke had to get through probably the best 16 seed in Siena, probably the top 9 seed in TCU. And oh, by the way, now they got St. John's waiting for them. They got to get the winner of UConn and Michigan State. So good luck. You know what you get as a reward for knocking off Rick Pitino? You got to go deal with Dan Hurley or Tom Izzo in March. Good luck.
Not the best time. So
if John Schreier wins this national championship, I put him in the Hall of Fame already. I guess.
Congratulations on your job as the Lakers head coach.
No, I don't think he'll ever leave Durham. I think he'll have a Coach K-esque run.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, the name on the front of the jersey is enough to bring in,
and they're going to pay him
5-star talent no matter what. But so this is where the pushback comes for me, because I think Thursday night is going to be the more exciting rock fight kind of night.
Yeah.
But if you like basketball,
more talent on Friday
for the big names, specifically in coaching, I think Friday night's going to be your night.
Here's an interesting debate, Dan. Does the national champion come out of Thursday or Friday?
Ooh. So
kind of feels like Friday, doesn't it?
For my bracket, yes, it does feel like Friday.
Is Tennessee the most intriguing team left? Because we haven't talked about them yet. They're the 6th seed, and they got Iowa State. And Cyclones 4.5-point favorites, 138.5 is the over-under. Man, I really like Tennessee in that matchup. Like, you know me, I love me some TJ Otzelberger, but it just kind of feels like Tennessee's got the better wings. They've got the better post play, in my opinion. Not better, more athletic, I should say. And I think that's going to be the difference in that game.
Yeah, see, I'm all over Iowa State because I don't think, I mean, granted, they are a 2 seed, so they've got the respect already on their side, but I don't feel like the national media has really talked enough about what Iowa State has been able to do this season.
Yeah, it's because they're Iowa State.
Yeah, I mean, they're just, with Iowa kind of being the overshadowing factor of like last weekend, Iowa State quietly could be one of the teams that I think could truly make it their way into the Final Four pretty easily.
Big 10, SEC, Big East. Where does the national, or Big 12? Where does the national champion come out of?
I'm going to say Big 10.
Wouldn't that?
It would be crazy, but I feel like we just have so many teams in the Big 10 that are still in it.
It feels like this is the year they've kind of got off the Big 10 can't get it done in March conversation. I mean, Purdue came on hot and they've delivered. They haven't done it as a 1 seed, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But Illinois got past the second weekend, which has kind of haunted them. Obviously, Nebraska and Iowa, the question marks are still there, but one of those teams is going to be an Elite 8 team.
Yeah.
And then Michigan is still one of the 3 1 seeds left in it. And I don't know if you know this, Tom Izzo still resides in East Lansing, Michigan. So there's a chance that Michigan State could just win a national championship. It'd be to the surprise of absolutely nobody. Yeah, I hate to say it, Dan, but I think the national champion comes out of the Big 10 as well. I think it's either going to be Purdue or Michigan, but would it surprise anybody if Matt Painter's at the end of the season cutting down those nets? I don't think it would surprise me.
No, I don't think it would surprise me. If like a month ago you made that prediction, I would have been like
2 months ago.
Are you nuts?
Yeah, without a doubt.
But now that I've kind of seen that Matt Painter still has that March Magic kind of left in his like dancing shoes, seems to be the case that he's got this team rolling and in the right place. And I think a couple of those little slip ups that we saw within like the Big Ten regular season for him have sort of been worked out, and he kind of treated the regular season as like, we're going to get all the kinks out and we're going to find the way that the rotations work,
which has been the opposite,
certain
right?
teams.
The opposite of what's been for him in West Lafayette.
And I mean, I think for the Big Ten this year, it's just the field is so wide and you're kind of coming at it from all different angles. I think there's one team at minimum in each region. Yeah, there is. There's one team at minimum in each region. So it just seems like the smart pick just because one of them at least has to be able to work their way to the Final Four.
We got to get to our closing arguments and talk about the spring game on Saturday. If you missed any of our show tonight, check it out on radio replay page on 1620thezone.com. It was brought to you by Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. It's going to be in the 80s tomorrow. You know what that means? That means that wedding season is right around the corner. And if you're looking to get the ideal tux for your big day, or maybe you just want to upstage a groom in your life, head over to 78th and Dodge. Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear dressed me for my wedding. They dressed Dan for his wedding. They can dress you for your big day as well. Head over to Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear, 78th and Dodge. Tell Dan, John, and the crew that the After Hours Lounge sent you. We wrap up the show. Talk spring ball on 1620 Zone.
At Timber, they don't just give you a place to go for lunch or dinner. They give you an experience. From their bold, smoky flavors prepared in the open concept kitchen, where you get to watch the magic happen, to the relaxing umbrella-shaded patio. There's something for everyone at Timber. Join them for brunch every Saturday and Sunday from 9:30 to 2, plus happy hour from 2 to 5:30 Monday through Saturday, and 2 to close on Sunday. Timberwood Fire Bistro in the heart of Omaha at 84th and Pacific.
My name's Stephen Butler, and I own Controlled Comfort. And we've been in business for 6 decades. And in those 6 decades, I like to think that everything we do is about the art of comfort. It's about the skill of our people, but it's also about the integrity, because at the end of the day, I value my employees, so they value you. And that's really all this is about. If you get cold this winter, think about us. We'll come help you out. We'll get you out of bind. It'll be fair, it'll be fast, and it'll be the right price.
Control Comfort keeps it under control.
Ready to make a positive impact in a young boy's life? Join Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands and become a mentor, where you are matched up with a boy in the greater Omaha area. Over 50 boys are waiting for someone like you to guide and inspire them. Visit mentoromaha.org and sign up to make a difference in a boy's life. Don't wait. Make a lasting impact today.
Are you ready for the game changer of the day? Bellevue University has a new state-of-the-art 72,000 square foot field house featuring premium courts, generous fan seating, top-tier locker rooms, dedicated athletic training, and a strength and conditioning space, plus a whole lot more. It's not just a venue, it's a home court advantage. We're for you and for college sports. Visit BUBruins.com.
It's March Mania at Ace Rent to Own. This month, we'll match your down payment up to $500. Furniture, appliances, electronics, even tires, with no credit needed at Ace Rent to Own.
Ace Rent to Own, where we make rents.
If your brand isn't generating you business, well, it's losing. That's where Sign Ovation steps in. We help Omaha businesses win the visibility game with bold storefront signs and vehicle decals that turn your ride into a rolling billboard. Your brand should be working, even when you're not. Driving impressions, creating leads, and bringing customers through the door. Stop riding the bench. Put your brand in the game. Visit OmahaSignsAndWraps.com tonight. That's OmahaSignsAndWraps.com. Sign Ovation, where brands show up and win.
March into savings with Edwards Kia March Mania lease special. Lease the 2027 Kia Telluride S starting at just $499 a month. That's the 2027 Telluride S starting at just $499 a month. March Mania's pricing right now. Don't wait. These deals won't last. March into Edwards Kia today. It pays to make the drive to Edwards Kia.
$19.99 down plus first payment and doc fee of $180 due at signing. 24 months, 20,000 mile lease. Stock K003574. Acquisition fee of $650 not included. Tax, title, and license extra. Negative equity will affect payment. Security deposit waived with approved credit. Offer valid through 03/31/2026 while supplies last.
Big names dominate HVAC, but Titanium HVAC offers top service without the hefty price. With spring checks under $99, ensure your comfort and peace of mind. Discover the difference with Titanium HVAC in Omaha. Visit Visit titaniumomaha.com today, a Carrier dealer.
In school sports, it's easy to see the wins, the moments that make headlines. But there's so much work that goes unseen for any of it to happen. My name is Phil Risen, and I'm the Executive Director of the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. Throughout the country, athletic administrators dedicate countless hours to making life-changing opportunities possible for student athletes through sports. Their sacrifice is fueled by the belief that every student can grow and deserves their time to shine. On behalf of the NIAAA, we want to thank every athletic administrator for your tireless dedication to providing 7.8 million students across the country a path to a better future.
This message presented by the NIAAA, the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. Now back to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
One demerit, Dan. One demerit for you.
I mean, technically, we have to kayfabe the show, right?
That's good. Fair enough. Nice reference, Dan. I'll allow it. Put a bow on the After Hours Lounge on 1620 The Zone. As always, we'll wrap up the show with our closing arguments, courtesy of Bob Williams. What we'll do here is we'll both give you a hot take. To close out the show, we'll put a poll up on Twitter, and you'll vote for whoever had the best closing argument. Whoever has the fewest amount of votes has to face the jury. Dan, I told you last night that I would do it. If it came to fruition, that I would sit here and I would eat my crow. My crow tastes a lot like vanilla ice cream. We put up a poll last night asking if you know anybody that's favorite ice cream is vanilla. 60% came back with a yes. Okay, Dan, I kowtow to you. It is a normal thing, apparently.
People like the vanilla ice cream. If it's good, it's good.
What is your closing argument of the night?
My closing argument of the night is, while it is very fun to see an old man play in the NFL, might be time to look into Joe Flacco's finances and also the health of his marriage, because at 41, he has agreed to a deal with the Cincinnati Bengals. And while I understand from Cincinnati's perspective that this is probably one of the cheaper backup quarterbacks that you could get,
probably the cheapest.
If you're really looking to build a championship franchise and you're really worried about Joe Burrow possibly going down again this season, do you really want to have an old man in the backfield who, if you can't protect if you can't protect Joe Burrow, what makes you think that you're going to do better for Flacco?
Yeah, Dan, I think I'm going to get to the question you were trying to ask, and not necessarily about Joe Flacco's marriage or his finances. Does somebody in the AFC North have Joe Flacco's kids in the back of a car and holding them hostage somewhere? Because he just only plays for these teams. It's very weird. I get, like, I don't know. Are you saving money? Probably. Is it? Why can't you do the Phillip Rivers approach here? Call him in week 11 if you need him.
Yeah.
Like, why does Joe Flacco need to go to OTAs and be there week 1? Does anybody feel like that's a necessity?
I mean, maybe it's just an easier way to say, all right, we can put you on the practice squad, maybe still pay you whatever this, deal is that you're going to have, and let you sit in the wings, because we all know that Joe Flacco is the one who's going to save our season. He's proven that he can still do it, but there's going to come a point where he will get tackled and he will turn to dust, like the evil guy in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
My childhood is officially over. It has been for a while, and I understand that. We've now reached the point today, as I mentioned, today is Peyton Manning's birthday.
Happy birthday.
Today is also the Undertaker's birthday.
Yes, it is.
And I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. The Undertaker has filled into this role now within the WWE, where he comes out and he inducts people into the Hall of Fame and lets them know that they're going in. But the real life Glenn Jacobs, who on screen played the Undertaker's brother Kane, if you don't know their story, The Undertaker burned down their family's funeral parlor, which his brother was in. The Undertaker thought he was dead, but he was actually alive in the fire. The Undertaker's manager, Paul Bearer, brought him back. It's a whole story.
It's a whole thing.
There's a 45-minute YouTube video out there somewhere that could probably explain it better than I just did. But I don't think this was Glenn Jacobs tweeting this out. But from the WWE Kane account, Kane tweeted out, and I want to make sure I read this verbatim and correctly. Happy birthday to the Undertaker. Yes, you burned down the family house. In case my real life father, Paul Bearer in concrete, and set me on fire a couple of times. But otherwise, you're the best big brother anybody could have hoped for.
Oh, jeez.
And then Glenn Jacobs, who is legitimately the mayor of Knox County in Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
Tweeted from his own personal account and said, wow, I think I detect some sarcasm here. Happy birthday at The Undertaker, one of the greatest of all time, both in ring and outside. And then the Kane WWE Twitter page started responding to the Glenn Jacobs page. So we've reached this point in like the dead internet period where either somebody at WWE is trolling Kane or AI has taken over a on-camera demon character. And that's scary enough in its own right. So yeah, this is where we are in society, I guess. But happy birthday to Mark Calloway, better known to you as The Undertaker. Happy birthday to Peyton Manning, and welcome back to Tiger Woods. It's apparently 1999 all over again. Everybody.
It is indeed.
Welcome back. If you missed any of the show where it's not 1999, it's very much 2026 with a Class B state champion. Bennington Badgers girls basketball team joined us in studio. Their head coach, John O'Connor, was with us with Reese Almquist and Regan Bloom. You can check out that interview and the rest of the show on our radio replay page on 1620thezone.com. It was brought to you by Bob Williams of Williams Law. If your son or daughter is facing litigation, maybe you found yourself behind the wheel of a car after having too much to drink, maybe you've been wrongfully accused of a crime, you need to head over to WilliamsLawLLC.com tonight. Bob Williams and his team will sit you down. They will give you a no obligation free legal consultation. That's right. They'll get you ready for your big day in court. Make sure you understand your rights and get ready for your day in front of the judge. Check out WilliamsLawLLC.com for more details tonight. Dan Campion produced this show tonight. I've been your host, Jimmy Allen. Appreciate you making us a part of your evening here on 1620 The Zone. Go enjoy National Cheesesteak Day, everybody.
Whiz!
My name's Stephen Butler, and I own Controlled Comfort. And we've been in business for 6 decades. And in those 6 decades, I like to think that everything we do is about the art of comfort. It's about the skill of our people, but it's also about the integrity, because at the end of the day, I value my employees, so they value you. And that's really all this is about. If you get cold this winter, think about us. We'll come help you out. We'll get you out of bind. It'll be fair, it'll be fast, and it'll be the right price.
Controlled Comfort keeps it under control.
Many people go back to the dealership out of habit or because they think the dealer is the only one who knows how to fix their car. At Omaha Car Care, we offer a better option. We have ASE certified technicians, the technology to service any vehicle, and free loaner cars. The dealer will sell you a package of services. We'll provide the service you want for your car as your trusted partner. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Are you dreaming of your business dominating local Google searches, drawing in customers effortlessly? Look no further. I'm Courtney, the Google gal from Pixel Fire Marketing. Need assistance with your Google business profile? From verification to getting more reviews, fixing maps to tackling annoying Google calls? I've got you covered. Your profile sets you apart and ensures you're the top choice for local customers. Visit fixmygbp.com for our $297 special offer. Visit fixmygbp.com for more details.
Find your next SUV from Woodhouse Chevy. It's the perfect time to upgrade your drive with limited time offers available now. Lease the 2026 Chevy Traverse for $579 a month for 39 months, 10,000 miles per year, or save up to $4,000 off MSRP. Shop online or in-store today. Woodhouse Chevy. Together, let's drive. With approved credit, retired courtesy loan, tax title license extra. First payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Must trade a 2011 or newer vehicle. Finance based upon available rebates. Must be current Costco member. Expires March 31st, 2026. See dealer for details.
The Blue Jay Zone is brought to you by Chandler Conway.
Have you been injured in an accident? You shouldn't have to fight with insurance companies or deal with medical bills alone. You need an experienced injury lawyer who'll protect your rights while you focus on healing. At Chandler Conway, our team understands the legal process and will handle your case with dedication. Our goal is simple: to secure the compensation you deserve. Call us today or visit chandlerconway.com for a free consultation. Don't face this challenge alone. Let us support you every step of the way.
With Greg McDermott's pending retirement comes the dawn of a new era under Alan Huss. As another member of Mac's long and far-reaching coaching tree, Huss's accomplishments at High Point forecast a healthy transition on the hilltop. In just 2 seasons with the Panthers, Huss won 56 games, which was nearly the same number as the 5 seasons that preceded him. And High Point's 2026 roster, who upset Wisconsin in the first round, was almost wholly assembled by Huss before he accepted Creighton's offer to return as coach-in-waiting last spring.
Are you ready for the game changer of the day? Bellevue University has a new state-of-the-art 72,000 square foot field house featuring premium courts, generous fan seating, top-tier locker rooms, dedicated athletic training, and a strength and conditioning space, plus a whole lot more. It's not just a venue, it's a home court advantage. We're for you and for college sports. Visit BUBruins.com.
Thanks for dinner, Dad. Odd question, but have your energy bills been high lately? Mine seem really high.
Not anymore, thanks to our new Champion windows.
Champion! What was that?
Well, I was trying to tell you about the buy 2, get 2 free sale from Champion Windows.
Champion! You seriously don't hear that?
All I hear is me trying to help you save money.
Sure. Sorry.
We saw an immediate improvement in our bills after installing Champion Windows.
Champion! You didn't just hear that?
You're probably just distracted by what a good deal buy 2, get 2 free is.
Seriously.
Just call Champion already.
Champion!
Upgrade to energy-efficient windows during Champion's Buy 2, Get 2 free sale. Don't wait. Call 877-GO-CHAMPION or visit ChampionSaveNow.com to schedule your free estimate online today.
All discounts apply to our regular prices. Select styles apply. Minimum purchase required. Cannot combine with other advertised offers. See store or website for details.
Sadly, you can't smell things through the radio. So until that technology is developed, you'll just have to take my word that when you walk into Betty Ray's ice cream, you're going to smell, see, and taste the awesomeness that is a freshly made waffle cone. And in that waffle cone is Betty Ray's creamy and delightful ice cream. Scoops, shakes, sundaes, and Sammys. A treat for at least 3 of your 5 senses. Betty Ray's ice cream. 63rd and Center, 156th and Dodge, and BettyRays.com.